Hey everyone, just checking in. I am in my hotel room. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I'm going to check on one more thing. Let me just check, make sure we're live. Let me just check. Hold on one second, please. There we go. Let me just check. Hold on. Yep, we are live. I'm just going to check in here real quick before I head out for the evening. And so one of the things that I do when I go out live, this is my setup for, this is the handle that I use for when I'm out with my iPhone. It's a spring-loaded clamp on an L handle, and I find this much easier to film with than just holding it like this or like this. Now the good thing is this frame actually fits around my holster that I have for Final Cut. So actually when I'm not, the phone goes in the holster, the pad, and then this goes right around the top of the clip on my belt. So I really like that. Let me see if I can show you anything else here. Put that over there. Yeah, so I'm doing some filming tonight. I'm doing some filming tomorrow. I'll be editing when I get a chance and do the rest of the editing back home. Let me see here. Camera. Here we go. Let me go to preview mode. I'm just adjusting my screen. Stop HD camera. What about this one? Overlay camera. FaceTime. I'm just trying to figure out a few things here. If you hold on one second. Camera. Where's my, oh, there we go. I have to reconfigure things when I'm working on the small MacBook Pro screen versus my big screens. Let me see here. Videos, backyard graphics, FaceTime. Well, let's just try this. Well, I'm going to duplicate it. Let me duplicate it. And this one, I'm going to choose a different camera. There we go. So there's my camera. I'm using my iPhone camera. I'm using my iPhone camera there, showing us infinity screen. And here I wanted to show you, this is my little coffee station. When I go out, I bring a stainless steel pour over kettle. Even though they have a room coffee pot, I like this one better, and I use it with a AeroPress system, which works really, really well. And I can have good coffee in the morning when I get up. Good coffee in the morning when I get up. And then let's go look, let me go outside and look real quick. Let's see. Preview mode. There's outside of my room. There's a swimming pool right there. There we go. Exciting. I'm sure it's exciting for everybody. I just figured I'd post a couple of things. So nothing. Rogerio says, "Hi Richard, how you doing?" Nothing Final Cut Pro. Do you guys expect anything? My ears clogged up from the plane ride. Do you guys expecting, guys and gals, expecting anything in December, Final Cut Pro wise? It's hard to tell. They have had 4 Final Cut Pro updates in December. That's one thing that I checked on, and they have had 4 Final Cut Pro updates. Whether 2022 will see one or not, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell. But it wouldn't surprise me either way. It would not surprise me if they had one, and it would not surprise me if they didn't have one. I think probably not, but I would not say 100% that I'm really certain about that. Alista says, "I'm expecting a new version of Final Cut Pro. Can't wait." So I guess the question is, yes, we're going to get a new version of Final Cut, but when are we going to get it? So 10.7 maybe? 10.6.6? I think, if 10.7 comes out in the spring with a new Mac Pro, that would kind of make sense, right? New Mac Pro, brand new spanking Mac Pro. What better to show it off with than, what better app to show it off with than Final Cut Pro? That's what I would think. But who the heck knows? So I'm filming tonight, all day tomorrow, and Friday I'm heading back home. I switched some things around at my house so I could watch from here where I am. I'm down in Florida is where I am. Down in Florida. So the FCP Global Summit, they have another stop coming up in LA. It looks like that one's going to be the biggest stop of the tour as far as Final Cut Pro personalities and stuff. It's starting to gear up towards a lot of people. I think Steve Martin's going to be there. Mark Spencer's going to be there. Of course, they're both on the, that side of the United States. I'm on the East Coast, all the way on the East Coast. So see what happens. Some of the Final Cut Pro team might be there for that, from what I understand, what they said. I have to see how that works out. So, anything else going on in the world of Final Cut Pro? Mobile journalism. I'm using 2 or 3 iPhones. Eric says, "Welcome to my home state." Thank you, Eric. I don't get down to Florida that often, but I'm down here every once in a while. It's very nice. I mean, I'm down at going out to eat in a little while. Lots of cool restaurants down where I am, and it's a nice state. It's a big state, very, very big. I'm used to Maryland, which is not the biggest state. It's not as small as Delaware, but it's not that big a state. I like Maryland because it has weather changes. It gets the fall and the spring and stuff. I don't think there's any. Yeah, so one of the things that I talk about when it comes to apps for the phone, pro video camera apps for the phone, is there's a couple of things that I want. Number one, I'd like to have a remote control on my watch that I can start and stop recording, maybe even monitor. I'd like to have that. Another couple of things I'd like to see, well, there's one thing I absolutely need for a professional camera app, and that's live camera switching. I want to be able to, my iPhone 14 Pro Max has 4 different camera lenses choices. 0.5, 0.1x, 2x, and 3x. And I'd like to be able to switch those while I'm recording. Some apps can. There's about 3 or 4 that can do that, including the native camera app. That's when I first started doing that, so I know it's possible. Anybody says that they can't do it, that's a bunch of malarkey. Of course they can do it. They already have, there's 3 or I think there's 4, including the native camera app that can live switch while recording. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. This was filmed, is it up there? Huh. Oh, let me turn this off. Let me see if I can turn that off. Let me actually go over here. It's a little bit different. There it is. So this is at the Creative Summit 2018 in the lobby. Now watch how I switch camera lenses while I'm recording live. One switch, 2 switches. Now, some camera apps, most of them can't do that now, but I need that. I use it all the time. I switch from one lens to the other lens, to the other lens, to the other lens. Some of the camera apps, you have to stop the recording. Then you got to go through a menu. Then you got to find the lens that you want. Then you got to choose that lens. Then you have to close the menu. And then you have to start recording again. I don't want to do that. There's 3, 4 camera apps that don't require that. One of them is the native camera app. If the native camera app had a few more features, like more manual controls and audio meters, no audio meters on the native camera app, I'd use that even more than I do presently. But I want to be able to switch cameras and lenses while I'm recording without stopping the recording. Is that too much to ask? No, it's not too much to ask. Another nice feature, I think 2 of the camera apps that I have, I buy these camera apps. I buy them all. I mean, every time I see one that's worth anything, I'll go ahead and buy it. I didn't subscribe to that one, and I can tell you why. It's just $13.99. It looked like a pretty good app, but when you go to the Pro version, you lose the ability to easily switch camera lenses. It's on the free version, very easy. All the lenses are on the screen. You click 1, 2, 3, and it switches them. When you go to the Pro version, that selection process disappears, and you got to use a different process, which is more clunky. But another thing that I want when I get a Pro camera app, multicam. I want to be able to record from 2 cameras simultaneously. Now, originally, Filmic Pro said they were going to have this when they did the demo at the Apple presentation. And then it turns out they can't do it. They couldn't do it with Filmic Pro. They did it with a separate app, but not with Filmic Pro. So there's a couple other ones that you can. There's 1 or 2 other ones besides Double Take, which I use right now. There's a couple of other Pro Cam apps that you can indeed record from 2 cameras at the same time. Separate files, side by side, picture in picture. So that's something else I'd like to see. So remote control watch, live camera switching, live while you're recording live, I want to switch the cameras, and multicam. Those are 3 features that I'd really like to see if I settle in on an app. Now you don't have to settle in on an app. I use 2 or 3 different ones right now. But we'll see going forward. We will see going forward. All right, so let's see what happens at the LA Final Cut Pro Global Summit. We'll see what happens there. Whether there's any announcement or not, it could be. Could be. That would be fine. All right, everyone, I'm going to head out. I got things to get ready for. I will talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you later.